Hi, brothers and sisters. This is Pastor Robert here for Real Talk News today. Get the paper here. We're back on this platform after taking a much-needed break. Excuse me, getting the lighting, everything. I have some exciting news, so you want to definitely get everybody on the line and on this platform. Tweet it out, Facebook it out, let everybody know. Real News Talk today is on right here on this platform. And right now we're live, and we will be live sometimes in taped live, depending on as we get interviews and different things going. Today is June 9th, Monday, June 8th, 2021, and we've got a lot of stuff that's going on. Part of the reason why we waited to come back, let's see what we got here. Those who are on YouTube, let somebody know somebody's here right now. Says I got a bad signal. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let's see what's going on. We'll continue here on YouTube, and we'll wait for Facebook to catch up with us. Listen, we've got a lot of stuff that we want to get into. As you see the hashtag down there, Fauci lied, people died. There are a lot of us who know people who have been had the COVID-19 coronavirus. Some of us know people who have died from the COVID-19 coronavirus. And so we're going to be dealing with that over the next number of podcasts. We're going to be dealing with that because, see, here's what I want you to know. As you come on, share this with somebody right now, get them on here. I want your comments below. I want to hear from you and interact with you. Because one of the things we have here, as we try to get this straightened out over here on Facebook, listen, one of the things we have is that, no, don't post, don't put garbage. We're going to start over here on Facebook. Just one moment. All right, thank you for being so patient there, my people over there on YouTube. We're going to start this back up again here on Facebook. And here we are. Hey there, let's start this over in 3, 2, 1. Hey there, this is Pastor Robert here, and I'm glad for you to join us here on Facebook Live and on YouTube and on these other platforms as we're expanding. We've got some great news we're going to be sharing in a few minutes about how this podcast, Real News Talk Today with Pastor Robert, will be expanding. I say, well, how you doing? You just got started. Well, I've been doing this actually a long time, longer than you think. So we've just been waiting on the right time and the right place and the right opportunity. One of the things I do want to tell you is that one of the reasons we kind of took a break, we were trying to get through all the beginning of the year, get the coronavirus, the pandemic, and the vaccine rollout. And we're going to be talking a lot about that over the next number of podcasts. I'm going to give you some inside information that's public information, but a lot of you really don't know about it. So share this, like this, give me some likes, subscribe. You want to get somebody online, you want to hear this. I'm going to give it to you in little bits and pieces so you don't get overwhelmed. One of the things that recently happened is that, as I said earlier, there's a lot of us who have been touched by it. We know somebody who had coronavirus, has it now. I know somebody who has it now. And they're in the hospital, not doing well. I got to be able to pray for them. And then also those who've died. Some people have relatives and family members who died. Now, you say, well, what does that have to do with the prostitute in China, Robert? Well, here's the thing about it. Someone once said that those who do not learn from history will be doomed to repeat it, okay? And you must realize that there's a lot of things, there's a repetition, there's things that are going on with this whole COVID-19 lockdown and even the vaccine rollout, and now there's even a term called vaccine hesitancy, which we'll be dealing with over the next few days. So there's a lot of things that's going on, and you'll be surprised how much history will repeat itself. And we don't want that to be happening. So one of the things we're going to start today on this podcast, we're going to be no more than 30 minutes total. So at 6:30 Eastern, weekdays, and any other time we just need to come on. But we're going to be here 6:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday. We'll be live on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays normally. And of course, we'll break in at any time with any breaking news right here on this platform. So tweet this out, post this, reshare this, and if you can't watch it at 6:30 Eastern, you can look at it on a number of platforms that we're going to be sharing with you in a moment. Now, let's get into this. Probably the most beloved person during the lockdown, the coronavirus lockdown back in 2020, probably was Dr. Anthony Fauci. And probably one of the most unbeloved people was President Donald John Trump. Well, here's the thing about it. We would normally see, those of us remember a year ago, those daily press conferences where it'd be Trump, and then it'd be Pence, and then it would be others, and then Dr. Fauci would get up, and then Dr. Birx with her nice scarves. Bless her heart. And so we see all that going on. And sometimes Trump would say one thing, Pence would say what Trump would say, Dr. Birx would kind of say something kind of in the middle, and then Dr. Fauci would say whatever he wanted to say. But what we're finding out now through a FOIA request, that's a Freedom of Information Act request, which we have here still in the United States of America, where any public servant, you can request to get their communications. In Florida, we call it the Sunshine Law. Everything that they have there has to be communicated and be shared to the public if it's requested. And so we have about 3,000 or so emails from Dr. Fauci that many of the media, the mainstream media, not so much, but also the alternative media, like people like myself, have been kind of pouring through and looking to see what is going on with this, what was actually going on behind the scenes, if you will, with Dr. Fauci. And one of the things you must realize here, there was, if you remember, when we were trying to find out the origin of the coronavirus, COVID-19, we were told that, what? Well, you remember? We were told that it was, came from a wet market where somebody was eating bat soup or something to that effect, bats, and it infected them. And of course, when President Trump called it the China virus, China virus, because it came from Wuhan, it was cast as being xenophobic, even by candidate Biden then and many others saying, oh, that's being racist, okay? Well, here's the one thing about this. Write this down. One thing about it, the wet market was only a matter of a few hundred yards from the Wuhan lab, a Wuhan laboratory, okay, where the Wuhan Institute of Virology, to give you a specific name, and that's where they research different stuff, things, viruses. Now, what happened was that it's been reported to me in the national media, in the media and through the emails, that the United States of America, the NIH, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, headed by Dr. Anthony Fauci, would give grant money to the Wuhan lab in China to do research. Something called, here's another term, write this down, keep this in your mind, gain of function research and gene editing. Let me say it again. Gain of function research and gene editing. Okay? So basically what they do, they take viruses and they manipulate the viruses to see if there was something if that virus were to get out as and cause a pandemic, they would know how to combat it. So it's almost like they're being mad scientists. We're here, we're gonna take these bats and these viruses, and we're gonna edit them. We're gonna play around with them to see what we can come up with, and then, here's something that could be dangerous. And so with that, now we know how to make vaccines or different things to combat that if that ever would happen. Mm-hmm. So here's our key word, gain of function research, gene editing. Now, in 2015, let's go back. In 2015, up until 2015, we, the United States, National Institute of Allergy, NIH, Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, we're giving grant money to the Wuhan lab there in China. They are level 3. Level 3 and level 4 are the only ones who can do that kind of stuff. There are 3 level 4s, I believe, here in the United States, one in Texas, Fort Detrick in Maryland, which I personally know some people who dealt with that. and Fort Detrick, that area. And then also you have one in the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Stick with me, stick with me. Give me some likes, give me some hearts, share this right now. So what happened was, President Obama, when he saw what they were doing, he stopped the funding. He stopped the funding because he said, man, this is dangerous. If this gets out, it could cause a pandemic. Thank you very much. So he stopped it. However, Dr. Anthony Fauci, because he's been in there since Reagan, of 40-some years, since the 70s almost, he decided 11 days before President Obama got out of office and 11 days before President Trump was inaugurated, he signed over to continue or to restart doing the lab research there in Wuhan, giving the Chinese the money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, to research gain of function and gene editing. Okay, you with me so far? All right, now, share this with somebody. This is some good information. This is public information, so I'm not saying anything out of the ordinary, anything like this. Now, and I will put my links to some of the research or articles and everything so you can read this for yourself. Now, here's the issue. The nearest bat cave near the Wuhan lab is about 900 miles away. So literally they're saying that bats would have had to travel 900 miles from their cave there where they normally hang out, if you will, somehow over to the wet market near the Wuhan lab, and somehow it got from the bat to the human, and from the human to other humans, and then across the whole world, and the pandemic started. Now, there were those who were doing research when it was still in China, like myself, because I remember in January, I was like, uh-oh, if they don't contain this, it's coming over here. So I actually ordered my first mask. Before anybody was talking about masks, I ordered mine from Amazon in January. I had my mask before January was out. And I'm gonna show you the picture. It was a mask that said blah, 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 okay? Anyway, so it looked as if it came from the lab because that's what they were researching. But social media giants like Facebook, Twitter, and others were banning people and canceling people and suspending people if they were saying that it was from the lab. And they said, no, it's from the wet market, the bats and all that. Okay, the wet market. So a lot of people got kicked off of social media. Other doctors got kicked off of social media. And it's been a real big mess. Now that Dr. Fauci's emails have come out, and understand, let me go back. Let me take this slow here. Dr. Fauci's emails were not leaked by WikiLeaks. They were not stolen. They were not hacked. It was through a Freedom of Information Act because he is a public servant. He is on the payroll of the United States government. Matter of fact, Dr. Anthony Fauci makes $475,000 a year. He is the highest paid government employee, even more than the President of the United States, who gets $400,000 a year. But I digress. So, now that these emails have come out, we find that there are a lot of things that Fauci knew, but was telling us something different. Okay, and I'm looking here in the National Post exclusive here. Now, let me go, and I'm going to stop right here in a moment here and take some questions. I want you to get this, and then we'll move a little further and close for today, and we'll be back tomorrow. Listen, if it came out of the lab, that means somebody either did it intentionally or it was a mistake. Either way, who should be responsible for the hundreds of thousands that died here in America and the millions that died around the world because that virus, if that virus is found to have come out of the lab? Okay? Here's one thing you must realize as well. Dr. Anthony Fauci, let's talk about masks for a moment. We'll just talk about masks, and we'll stop there. In the emails, it reveals that Dr. Anthony Fauci said that the masks don't work. Now, I know it's going to kill some of you because some of you are still wearing your mask even though you've been vaccinated, and the government says you don't have to wear a mask. You're like, I'm still wearing my mask. God bless her, my 87-year-old mother who's in good health, still strong, and in her right mind. She's been vaccinated, and she's still wearing her mask. I carry my mask around, so if I go on someplace that they say we'll put on a mask, I'll be generous and, put on a mask. I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. Or if I'm going somewhere where people in masks, well, then I'll kind of conform. But the mask, Fauci said the masks don't work. He told us then that the masks don't work. Then he turned around and said, you have to wear a mask because the masks work. Then he said, wear 2 masks. And then we saw the president and the vice president sometime wearing 2 masks. But Fauci was wearing 2 masks. So there's a lot of confusion because here's the bottom line. If you went to the store and you know that you read, I read stuff. When I buy stuff, I read the ingredients and all the rest of all that little fine print, if you will. Look here. It says on those masks, on the box, this will not prevent from contracting coronavirus or COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen. But then he said that he was saying don't wear the mask because he didn't want the health care workers to run out of masks. But he admitted he lied. He even did, you can go to the 60 Minutes piece where he told her, the masks don't work. I mean, one little droplet might just kind of, okay, that was my Anthony Fauci impression. Listen, so here's where we are now. Because do the masks work or don't they work? If they do work or they don't work, now that we've been told we don't have to wear the mask if we've been vaccinated, does it still protect you or not? See all the confusion? That confusion, my brothers and sisters, is not by accident, it's by design. It's by design because now it causes more friction. Because you got some people that are wearing masks just because it's a political statement. It's some people wearing masks because it's kind of like a Linus comfort, blanket. Some people wearing masks because they didn't get vaccinated. Some people never wore masks. Some people ain't gonna wear masks. All right, here, I got a comment here from Nat the Cat 119 here on Instagram. Says there, let the people also know that those swabs used in testing for the coronavirus contain ethylene oxide. In the years ahead, when individuals are being diagnosed with cancers, infertility, and tumors, those swabs made in China might also be the cause. Thank you, Nat the Cat on 119 on Instagram.com. Now, let me also show you one more thing here. For those who got censored on Facebook, and I'm actually on Facebook now, that's why I got a big announcement about another platform I'm moving to. Look what it says here, and I'm going to post this in the bottom here in your comments, and also I'll edit it on the final draft. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook contacted Dr. Anthony Fauci at the beginning of the pandemic. Yes, he did. And he wanted to help. So let's see what he says here. March 15, 2020. Mark Zuckerberg emails Dr. Fauci, these are from his actual emails, suggested that they partner on a COVID-19 information hub, makes an additional offer that's redacted. That's March 15, 2020. A month later, April 16, my father's birthday, God bless his dead, Facebook posts steps it's taking to combat COVID-19 related misinformation. That's when everybody started getting banned for saying it came from a lab or the mask working in don't work. Then fast forward, February 8th, 2021, this year, Facebook announces it will be removing more false claims about COVID-19 and vaccines. May 25th, 2021, Facebook admits to modest collaboration with Wuhan Lab of Virology. Fauci finally admits to modest collaboration with the Wuhan Lab of Virology and says COVID-19 may not have occurred naturally from a bat market or bat cave after all. And then May 26, 2021, Facebook announces it will no longer remove the claim that COVID-19 is man-made or manufactured from our apps anymore. So everybody did a turnaround. Now Fauci said, well, maybe it didn't come from the bat, maybe it did come from the lab. But then he turned around just the other day and said that he really believes that it didn't come from the lab. So he's all over the place. There's a hashtag that says Fire Fauci. There's been protests going on You make your opinion. I'll report it. You decide. But listen, I want your comments down below. We heard from Nat the Cat 119 on Instagram. If you have questions, you can text me 813-303-0151. 813-303-0151. Email me at Fauci, F-A-U-C-I, Fauci, at robcarpenter2.com. Email me your information. Email me your comments, and we'll share them here on tomorrow or the next day, the podcast. Also, if you want to sign up to get this, share this, like this, share this, pass this around. This is some good information, y'all. You're not going to hear this on ABC, CBS, NBC, and CNN, the fake news media, because they're trying to cover. I say get all the information out there and let each one of us as Americans decide what we want to do. What do they say? My body, my choice? Huh? Because, see, some of you are going to realize when we get further later this week, you're going to realize why you have this vaccine hesitancy. Everybody's getting it, supposedly, but we'll save that for another day. Here's the big announcement that we want to be making. Because of censorship online, I have a lot of friends and colleagues that have been censored on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all kind of other sites. We're going to stay here on our Facebook page and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram as long as possible. Also, we're on BitChute. Look for me on these platforms. Rob Carpenter II on Twitter. Rob Carpenter II on bitchute.com. BITCHUTE. BitChute.com. Also look for me on Twitch. And many other Gab, also Parler, Rob Carpenter II. But here's the thing. Starting later this week, contract is actually right here. I want you to now, listen real closely, go to the website, younow.com, younow.com, younow.com. Or if you have an Android or Apple phone or device, download the app, younow.com, YOUNOW. Download that and look for Rob Carpenter II. Set up your profile. Follow me on there, because later this week, we have our agreement here. We will be doing our podcast live on younow.com, on the YouNow platform, every Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and you'll be able to give. And also, here's the thing I like about this. Just like kind of with Facebook and YouTube, we'll also still be streaming on YouTube, but again, Facebook. But if they push us off, we'll still be over there. That'll be the main platform. Also, we'll be soon with Apple Apple Podcast. But listen, and Spotify. But here's the thing about it. Go to YouNow. Download that app. Find me, Rob Carpenter II. Start following me, because as soon as we get everything set up this week, that's the main platform where I will be doing my podcast. So I don't have to worry about censorship. Now, it costs money to do so this. If we have a studio set up at home, if you would like to sow a seed and give a gift from time to time, either there on YouNow, you can do it, or you can do it straight through PayPal. PayPal.me/Rob Carpenter II, and Cash App, $ Rob Carpenter II. I appreciate everything you can do. On the YouNow app, we will be actually bringing some of you on live as a guest on the air. Okay, so you gotta make sure you have you're looking good and everything, because I want this to be interactive. I want to find out what you're talking about as well, what you're concerned about. But we're gonna be sticking with this. Fauci lied. People died. This is part 1. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern p.m. right here on Real News Talk today with Rob Carpenter. God bless.